Hi, this is Seth with Created Equal. As you know, we are this week on our Justice Ride. This is day 5 of our Justice Ride. We brought this team from across America, these high school and college students, to change the culture. Now, today we're in Cleveland, Ohio. This is day 5, the last stop for the Justice Riders this week. We've chosen Cleveland, Ohio to end because today the nation is turning its attention here to the NBA as we continue to watch. Many people are watching. Can the Cleveland Cavaliers turn it around? Can they turn the tide of this fight to try to win this title against the Golden State Warriors? But we're here for a different reason, for a bigger fight. Turning the tide is something more important. As America watches the game, the basketball happening tonight, we're here because there's a moral debate happening. We are trying to turn the tide of this debate for human equality. The recent events in Ireland showed us something very tragic, and that is that you can not only change the laws. If you lose the culture, even having the laws on your side one day will also crumble. Ireland was a great country with anti-abortion laws, an amendment that was crushed recently by the populace. The heart of many people had turned. Today in America, we may have laws for abortion, laws against babies. What we're trying to do is build that consensus so that, even if one day we get a law favorably protecting babies, we want to make sure that at the same time, the heart of the culture is not continuing to turn against them. Today, we're doing the hard work on the streets, talking to individuals, changing their minds, turning them against abortion. Our work is pretty simple. The Justice Writers came together. They were trained in how to create conversations about abortion, given the vital tools, images, video, documented evidence showing what abortion does to babies. And on the streets today, showing people, they stand by the signs showing dead babies and ask people, what do you think about that? Is it moral to dismember a young human being? When people hear that conversation, when they hear that question, they stop. They meet someone, a high school, college student who knows how to artfully work through a conversation, graciously, not yelling, being hateful toward them, but graciously building the case. And what happens is change happens. People's minds are changed. People who thought that abortion was okay, they don't think that anymore. People who were planning to have abortion see the images of abortion, meet young people building a case against abortion, and they no longer kill their babies. That's the change we're after. So today, again, people are looking at Cleveland. We're here so that people would not only look at Cleveland, Ohio, we're here so that America would look at abortion itself, the greatest human rights injustice of our day, ripping 2,500 babies from their mothers' wombs every day. Nearly 1 million every year will die the painful death, the slow death of dismembering, decapitating, disemboweling. But we're here because we are not so cynical to think that all is lost. We believe that when people, honest people, fence sitters who've not made up their mind yet, when they see the visual evidence of what abortion does, when they hear the objective case against abortion, change happens. So what I want to do now is not just give you my word, but introduce you to some of our justice writers so you can hear that what they've been experiencing this week, the change that they've seen happening, stories from this week, stories some people tell us from years ago of how their minds were changed or how encountering people like us has affected them in some way. So first, I'll introduce you to Anna. Anna's a first-time justice writer, a college student. She came on our justice ride this week to start engaging in conversation this way. And Anna, just share with us briefly, why did you decide to come on the justice ride, first of all?
Well, I've always been very pro-life. I grew up in a very religious family. My mom always taught me that the pro-choice side is not always the correct side. And a lot of the people in my life are very liberal and don't believe the same things that I do. And so I wanted to take this week sort of as an opportunity to learn how to initiate conversations with those people and start talking about the things that I've always found difficult.
Excellent. That's truly the Justice Ride is a training ground. We hope that day 1 to day 5, you see a change. You go from being uncertain to maybe more confident how to work through a conversation. So yeah, have you seen yourself growing in that way?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. When I started on Monday, I was very afraid to talk to people. I approached hardly anyone. And yesterday and today, I found myself approaching almost everyone that passes me, not trying to let anyone slip by without asking them at least what they think about abortion. So
what do you think changed? How did you become more confident in that way?
I don't really know. I've realized how immensely important this issue is to me. And once I sort of wrapped my mind around the fact that if I believe in this so strongly that I should stop at nothing to tell everyone else what I think about it, that sort of helps me to, become more courageous and talk to everyone.
That's excellent. Anna, I know we've shared a lot of stories on the bus afterward. We're downtown, we get on the bus, we share stories. And yesterday you shared a really great story that, if you wouldn't mind, I'd love for you to share with everyone who's watching today so they can see what is happening on the streets of America.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. So yesterday in Detroit, Michigan, I encountered an older woman named Deborah. She passed me and was sort of looking at the sign that I was standing next to, and she said, is that what it really looks like? And I was like, yes, ma'am, it does. That's a 7-week post-abortive baby. And she walked away. She came back about a minute or so later. Her voice was very, very soft, and she said, again, is that what it looks like? And I was like, yes, ma'am, it is. And I could see tears starting to come in her eyes. And she opened up to me and explained that when she was 22 years old, she actually had an abortion herself, and that she'd never seen those images before. She said, I did that. I did that, and I'd never seen that before. That's amazing. And she just expressed this extreme amount of guilt and sadness for the baby that she lost. Her parents had pressured her into aborting the baby. Her friends agreed, and she just did it. She said, I don't believe in killing people. I know that I killed my baby, but I did it. And she said, if I had seen this kind of thing, I think my baby could have been saved. And that really broke my heart. This woman had her abortion procedure done almost 40, 50 years ago, and her heart was still hurting over the baby that she lost.
We see this, and this is what we're encountering this week, right?
Yeah.
People make this decision. We think this is a fix to the problems we're facing, but what it really does is this does not even solve the problems men and women are facing today. This creates a deeper problem. They carry these burdens, this guilt for many, many years. And what Anna and the team is doing this week is showing people that there is healing. We meet a lot of broken people who are hurting from their abortion like you met. We share with them the very good news that no matter what you've done, what matters is where you're going, who you believe in. If you believe in yourself, you're not going to get very far. You're going to continue to struggle. But if you believe in Jesus Christ, the good news, there's not only bad news that abortion kills, there's very, very good news that you can be forgiven for what has happened, forgiven for what you've done. That's the healing message we're sharing. And so, this broke your heart. And so what I find really interesting is she said that maybe she wouldn't have done it had she seen what you were doing, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what she said. And so I handed her one of the pamphlets. I said, I was like, ma'am, I can see that you're still hurting so much. And she was like, yes, I really am. And I said, well, we have some information on the back. Maybe you can go receive some help to talk to people to find healing over this. And she was like, can I really? And I said, yeah, you can. And she said, thank you for this. She told me that if she was wearing scrubs, so I assumed she was some kind of nurse. And she said, if I ever run into a young woman that is considering this, I'll tell her immediately, like don't do it. Don't do it to your baby. So.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you, Anna. Thank you for what you're doing, and we're excited to keep continuing the work with you. So absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Seth.
Well, this is so vital because there's a stereotype. I don't know if you've encountered people like us who oppose abortion. There's a stereotype that we don't care about born people, but we care about mother and child. Even those who've had abortions, they are humans made with dignity in God's image, and we are here for them as well. We love all human beings, but our love for any humans does not mean we should allow victimization. So even though we love born people, we also love preborn people so much that we have to be here. So I'm going to bring on Eli. Eli's another first-time justice writer. This is his first time with Created Equal on the streets. And Eli, just do some brief share with us. How has your experience been day 1 to day 5? How was the buddy system on day 1? How have you seen yourself change throughout the week?
Oh, it's been great. I just made a lot of new friends and have convinced a lot of people what abortion actually is, because a lot of people don't know what it is. And I've convinced a lot of pro-choicers and just people who are undecided. And I just really like how Create Equal really pushes you out there and makes sure you know your stuff and pairs you with a buddy, and eventually will know how to respond to every argument and convince a lot of people.
Right, because again, as Eli is saying, it's on-the-ground training. That's why we're here. Classroom stuff that we do on day 1, right? We tell you how to respond to discussions. That's vital. But when you're here on the job, on the streets, talking to real people, having real conversations, that's where you really learn how to navigate a conversation to turn people's minds. And now, Eli, again, on the bus yesterday, it was a long, hot day. We got on the bus, a very hot day, as you know. We were all very tired, but there were stories shared. And one of the stories you shared was about people who the signs had impact upon them. Can you share with us what happened in that conversation?
Yeah, sure. There's this one guy I was talking with. He said his girlfriend got pregnant and she had some kind of case where she had to deliver early. So she went to Planned Parenthood and talked to one of the professionals and scheduled an abortion about a month and a half. And one day she was walking along the streets and she saw some people protesting. Like she had the signs, and she talked to one of the people there, and they told her that there's other options, that abortion is not the only choice. And now, 12 years later, the child is now 12 years old and doing perfectly fine.
This is just today, someone told me what you're doing has no effectiveness whatsoever. This will not impact anyone. What you're telling me is there was a situation where someone was pregnant, planning an abortion. She saw essentially what we're doing, and it changed her mind. She chose not to kill her baby. Her child is now 12 years old. So clearly what we're seeing is this does have effectiveness. This does change hearts and minds. And again, we're not saying we're only here because it works. We believe this is our command, our mission, that we must expose injustice when it happens. But Eli's story is clearly one where we see the impact, the effect of it. So Eli, as you go home, what do you think in your mind? How will this affect your future? Do you think that what you've learned will continue to stick with you or help you in any way?
Yes, definitely. I plan on going to a lot more of the outreaches and hopefully going on the next spring Justice ride, and hopefully my little brothers will go on the next one too.
Yeah, there's certainly this legacy here because your brother Ari has been with us many times. We see the Justice Right community growing, the network growing, because every one of us now who knows how to fight injustice, who has the tools at our fingertips, we have the burden now to go do something. So we send Eli home tomorrow now to go change hearts and minds on his own, and that is the Justice Ride model. Bring them here, train them, send them out to go do greater work. So thank you, Eli, so much for being with us, and we're excited to continue the rest of the day and then watch you continue. Right. Thank you, Eli. Thank you. So finally, I'm going to bring on someone who might be familiar to some of you before who've watched our videos, someone who is going to go on, who's been doing many justice rides, I believe 5 so far now. She has already done a lot of other work to defend babies, and she is someone who's going to go to the next level beyond the justice, right? So Evangeline, come on the screen with us, please. So Evangeline is someone who is, again, not new to Created Equal. She has, for several years now, 5 justice rides, been with us. She came to us years ago, new, like Anna and Eli you just met, and Evangeline, not only has her burden increased, her ability to affect people and to impact them, to burden people where they are and change their minds has truly grown. So Evangeline, first, share with us briefly, like years ago to today, how have you grown as an individual through the work with Created Equal?
I have grown so much by the people around me, the mentors that I have been able to listen to and just have them train me on apologetics and just why it's so important that we do this work. I have grown so much and more than I ever thought I could.
So Evangeline, why are you here? Again, you've done this before. Why are you investing your time? And more importantly, I suppose, Evangeline's plan is to go on to do a gap year internship with Created Equal, spend an academic year with us. Why are you choosing a young person who could do many things in your life, right? Why are you investing your time here with this issue?
I realize how important it is to help save the babies that I know that are dying daily. It's my responsibility to help those who are being led to slaughter.
Awesome. And so tell us about that this week, your experience, maybe just watching, interacting with first-time Justice Riders. What has that been like for you as you become this mentor in the Justice Ride?
It's awesome. It's good to kind of help people and give them tips on how to talk to people about this issue. It feels good that I can help other people the way other people have helped me.
Awesome. One of my favorite parts that we've already been talking about with Eli and Anna is afterward. I love getting on that bus and people start sharing stories. We hear people asking, well, I heard this today. How do I answer that? And people like you and I can help them learn the better answers. But during that time yesterday, I believe it was, you shared a story that I think would be great for us to share with others. So could you unpack for us what happened in that conversation?
Yeah, of course. Yesterday, I talked to a woman named Deborah as well, and she was already looking at the signs, and she's one of those people that just opened up to me right away and told me how she had an appointment for an abortion, and there were people outside with the same exact signs we had of the abortion victims, and how they were all calling out to her, telling her, this is not your only option, we can help you. But the thing that stuck in her mind were the images, and people like us and the grace of God and those images are the reason why her son is alive today.
That's awesome. Images have a way, as we know, of burning their ways into our hearts and our memories, and we don't forget them. They stick with us. So this mother, Deborah, was walking in. She saw people outside. Again, there's this stereotype that those outside Planned Parenthood are hateful, mean people. Clearly, these are people who are showing an ugly truth of what abortion is, but reaching out in love, and that affected Deborah. So in that conversation, as you were listening to Deborah, talking with her, what was she thinking or feeling today about her child and about abortion in general? Did she share any more thoughts?
She told me that she is so glad that she actually listened and looked over, because she knows that she thought she was going to have her head down the whole time, but they got her attention. and she's just glad that there are people out there because she doesn't know if her son would be alive today.
So these ugly, ugly pictures, these people who chose to spend their time outside the abortion facility when they could be doing many other things, what they were doing with those signs that day saved that boy's life by God's grace, as you said. And so now you looking forward to the next year with Create Equal. What are you planning to accomplish, or why did you choose to go beyond the Justice Ride to do a whole year of this? What is your plan, Evangeline?
My plan is to help save as many babies as possible. That I want to look to God and tell Him I tried my hardest, and also share to people the gospel as well, because not only do the babies need help, but also the people who think this injustice is okay.
Absolutely, amen. Well, we're excited to have you on the team. We're glad you're here on the Justice Ride and also continuing onward. So thank you, Evangeline. What we are doing, as you've heard with these Justice Riders, there are many more stories. I wish you could just come on the bus with us and hear every story. As these students, many who are very new to this work, of standing on a street corner by a picture of a dead baby and asking someone, what do you think about this? That's a rather intimidating thing if you're new to it. I wish you could watch them grow like we are. But at least you get this snapshot this way. What we ought not do, though, is minimize the work ahead. There is a lot to do. Again, seeing what happened in Ireland showed us that we cannot take for granted that there is a consensus for equality, that there is a consensus against the action of intentionally killing innocent human beings. We may not stay home and merely hope that consensus will remain or grow, because it's being chipped away daily. There is an effort by the media, by the films we see, an effort to chip away at this deeply held principle. Just today, I was talking to a young man here in Cleveland on a bicycle, and he told me there is no objective morality. He said there is no true right and wrong. He told me that rape, for example, the sexual violence of rape is not immoral. He said it is a neutral act which could be right or wrong based on the consequences. That is the kind of person who is influencing people in our culture today. If we don't go to the streets to change hearts and minds, to turn them away from abortion, turn them toward the objective moral law given by an objective moral lawgiver who is God, that consensus will shift just like in Ireland. Too much is at stake here. We must be on the streets, and that's what we're doing, because again, we're not too cynical to think that all is lost. What you have seen with these three, Anna, Eli, Evangeline, is merely a snapshot of the growing Justice Ride community. So first of all, if you're watching, you think, I want to be like that, join us. Go to justiceride.org, find out how you can join our team on the streets, not just on the next Justice Ride. Go to createdequal.org and find out how you can join us every day. This summer, we have a team of interns who will be on the streets every day, dialoguing with people, shifting that cultural consensus, turning the wheel to oppose abortion. You can join us. Or if you're watching, you think, maybe I can't do that, but I know someone else who could. Contact us and tell that person about us, so we can reach out to them and bring them on the ride with us. Or finally, if you think I don't know anyone to send, I can't go, perhaps go to our website, download resources so you can talk to people, or financially support us. Even if you can't come to the streets, you can be with us in spirit. You can unite with us and make this work possible. But thank you so much for tuning in. This may be day 5 of the Justice Ride, but it is just the beginning for all of our Justice Riders. It is not all the end for Created Equal. We will be on the streets every day this summer. We'll be back on the campuses this fall as we continue to change hearts and minds, turning people away from the evil act of dismembering, decapitating, and dismembering babies. Because we believe in something radical, that all humans, black or white, rich or poor, born or preborn, every human being is created equal. Thank you for joining us. Continue to watch us this week on social media as we continue and go home from the Justice Ride.